Hey, welcome back to this lesson on managing the digital workflow. In the last video, we talked about grading. In this video, we're talking a teeny bit more about grading, but we're talking about how to use the document view to give feedback and also how to manage students submitting and resubmitting assignments. So we're going to dig in with this assignment here, the passage analysis. We are looking at the submissions over here and going to do some grading. So let's click here, needs grading. When you click on that student assignment submission, it opens up this document view. So here we have a few different options. Like the first thing I want to show is that you could just plug in the grade in this top right-hand corner. When you click, you get the option of putting in the score as well as that comment and whether or not you want to show that comment to the student, like I talked about in the last video. So that's all the same. What's different about this view, though, is that you can give some really specific feedback to students using the different annotation tools at the top. Real quickly, I encourage you to play around with these, but some quick demonstrations. You can draw on the text. You can decide to strike through if you suggest removing something. You can highlight text. And you can also use this add note feature, which I think is really handy for just clicking anywhere you want on the page, anywhere you want to insert a note, and then you can give some feedback, like choose a different title, why not? And save. So then when students see their work, they can see all this feedback that you gave them. Another thing to think about is if you're giving students multiple opportunities to revise, like let's say they're working on a multi-draft essay, you can use these different annotation features, and you can also use this submission activity comments over here on the right. This will show you how many different drafts have been submitted, the different comments that were associated with each one. So I could say something like revise and resubmit. So that way the student will know to revise and resubmit. These comments won't show up in the grade book. It'll just show up attached to the assignment in this view. So that's something that you should know about how to give some feedback to students. I want to show you what it looks like on the student side of things. So like for this CHS student, I'm going to toggle to their view. This student, you can see the two different revisions that they did for this assignment. And I want to show you one's on time and one is late. So we had the due date set to a really specific day and time. One submission was turned in before that deadline, the other was not. But we can go ahead and click on the assignment and pop open that view. You can see the submission history and the different like comments that were left by the teacher. And you can also toggle between the two different revisions. This is something you can do on the teacher end as well. And as you can see, this one is marked as late. The second one is marked as late. This is an interesting kind of feature isn't the right word. It's an interesting thing to have to work around when it comes to Schoology, which is that we can only see here, this is back to my teacher view that I toggled to, we can only see here when the most recent submission was submitted. So for the student's second draft, the second draft was turned in late. And so that's what's showing up as late, even though the first draft was turned in on time. So this is just one of the not so great features of Schoology that you should be aware of, which is that this submission view here doesn't show us how many times students submitted or tell us if the earlier drafts were turned in on time or not. You can learn this though by clicking on the assignment itself, and then you can again kind of toggle between the different drafts. So you can see up here on time. Another little cool feature, if you want to look at the difference between two submissions, is to click the compare. So I want to compare revision 1 with revision 2, and then it shows the things that were added between the two. It's highlighted in green. So that's kind of cool. The last thing I want to talk about is submitting and resubmitting. I'm toggling back to the student view now. As a student, I could still choose to resubmit this assignment. So I could click there and type in a whole brand new response, or I could go into my revision and click on new draft if I want to pick up where I left off. If you don't want students to be able to continue resubmitting, there's a really easy way to change this. So I toggled back to my teacher view. I'm in the assignment and I just needed to edit the assignment by going to the gearbox, clicking edit. And then down here, I want to click on the lock option. You can choose to set the time. So I'm going to choose lock now, or you can set it sometime in the future if you want. And now it's locked. Students can't make any more submissions. So when I refresh on the student side of things, there it is. You can't do it anymore. That's it for this video, and hope this helps you to manage the workflow.